I taste amazing, but I burn your stomach walls, spike your sugar, and weaken your bones. You can't stop reaching for me.
I'm 112 years old, and I want to tell you something before I run out of time. I've watched almost everyone I ever knew leave this world. My childhood friends, my brothers, my wife, even some of my own children. And the thing that haunts me most isn't death itself. It's watching people give up decades of life because they didn't know something simple. Something I'm about to share with you right now. 7 ordinary foods kept me alive longer than almost anyone on this planet. And I need you to understand that this isn't about being lucky or having good genes. My father died at 59, my mother at 61. Heart disease ran in my family like a curse. But I'm still here, still walking, still thinking clearly. And it comes down to choices I made in my kitchen, not a doctor's office. If you're listening to this, you still have time, but that time is shorter than you think it is. When I turned 50, I thought I had my whole life behind me. I was already older than my parents ever got to be. I figured whatever time I had left was borrowed. My doctor told me my cholesterol was dangerous. My blood pressure was through the roof. He said I'd be lucky to see 60. He gave me pills and told me to take them forever. And for a while I did. But those pills made me feel worse, not better. I was tired all the time. My stomach hurt. I felt like I was slowly fading away. So I made a decision that changed everything. I stopped waiting for medicine to save me. I started paying attention to the oldest people I could find, the ones who were still sharp and strong in their 80s and 90s. And I noticed something. They weren't eating what I was eating. They weren't living how I was living. So I started changing things. 7 foods. That's all it took. And here I am 62 years later, still here to tell you about it. The first food sounds so plain that people used to laugh when I talked about it. Oatmeal. I started eating a bowl of plain oatmeal every single morning when I was 52 years old. Not the sugary instant kind that comes in little packets. Just regular old-fashioned oats, cooked slow with water, a pinch of cinnamon, and maybe a handful of raisins or berries if I had them. My wife thought I'd lost my mind. She said that's what farmers feed their horses. But I kept at it. And I'm telling you, within 6 months my cholesterol dropped so much, my doctor thought I was on some new medication. When I told him it was just oatmeal, he didn't believe me at first. But it's true. Oatmeal has something called soluble fiber. And that fiber grabs onto the bad cholesterol in your body and pulls it out before it can clog up your arteries. Every single morning for 60 years, I've had that bowl of oatmeal. It became my ritual, my foundation. And I believe with everything in me that it saved my heart. The second food is something I eat every afternoon around 3 o'clock. Walnuts. Just a small handful, maybe 7 or 8 of them. I started doing this when I was in my early 60s because I kept forgetting things. Little things at first. Where I put my keys. What day of the week it was. And it scared me. I'd seen my uncle lose his mind to what we now call Alzheimer's. And I was terrified the same thing was happening to me. So I started reading, asking questions. And someone told me walnuts were good for the brain. I didn't really believe it, but I figured it couldn't hurt. And I'm telling you, within a year my memory got sharper. I could remember conversations. I could recall names. It felt like a fog had lifted. Now I'm 112, and I still remember the name of my 3rd grade teacher. I still remember the address of the house I lived in when I was 7. I think those walnuts kept my mind alive. And in all these years, I've never stopped eating them. The third food is something I wish I'd started eating when I was 20 instead of 50. Spinach and dark leafy greens. I eat them almost every single day now, sometimes in a salad, sometimes cooked with a little garlic and olive oil. I'm not talking about a tiny garnish on the side of your plate. I mean a real portion, at least a cup or more. When I was younger, I thought vegetables were just something you tolerated to get to the meat and potatoes. But the truth is, greens are what keep your blood clean, your bones strong, and your body able to fight off the wear and tear of living. I noticed after I started eating greens every day, I stopped getting sick as often. I had more energy. My skin looked better. And I felt lighter, like my body wasn't working so hard just to keep itself going. Your body doesn't repair itself the way it used to when you were young. Every bad meal adds up. Every toxin sticks around a little longer. But when you eat greens, you're giving your body what it needs to clean itself out and stay strong. The fourth food changed how my body felt from the inside out. Fish. Real fish. Not fried fish sticks or anything breaded. I'm talking about salmon, mackerel, sardines. The kind of fish that's rich and oily and full of life. I started eating fish at least twice a week when I was in my mid-50s, and it made a difference I could actually feel. My joints stopped aching. My knees, which used to hurt every time I stood up, started feeling better. I could walk farther without getting tired. And my doctor told me my blood work looked better than it had in years. Fish has something called omega-3 fatty acids, and those are like oil for your joints and fuel for your brain. I know fish can be expensive, but you don't need fancy cuts. Canned sardines work just as well. The point is to get those oils into your body regularly. It's one of the best decisions I ever made. The fifth food is something I add to almost everything I cook. Garlic. Fresh garlic, not the powdered stuff in a jar. I chop up a clove or two and throw it into my eggs, my soups, my vegetables, my fish. It takes 30 seconds and it makes everything taste better. But more than that, garlic has kept me from getting sick. I'm serious. I can't remember the last time I had a bad cold or the flu. Even when everyone around me was coughing and sneezing, I stayed healthy. Garlic is a natural antibiotic. It fights off bacteria and viruses before they can take hold. And it also lowers blood pressure. My blood pressure used to be so high the doctor said I was a walking time bomb.
After I started eating garlic every single day, my numbers came down. Slowly, steadily, naturally. No extra pills, just garlic. If I could go back and tell my younger self one thing, it would be to start cooking with garlic every single day. The sixth food is small but powerful. Blueberries. I eat them almost every day, either fresh in the summer or frozen the rest of the year. Just a handful mixed into my oatmeal or eaten plain as a snack. Blueberries are packed with something called antioxidants. And antioxidants protect your cells from breaking down. As you get older, your cells are constantly under attack from stress, pollution, bad food, just living. And if you don't protect them, they wear out faster. That's aging. But when you eat blueberries, you're giving your cells armor. I've noticed my eyesight has stayed sharp even at 112. I can still read the newspaper without glasses. I can still see faces clearly. And I think the blueberries had something to do with that. There's research that shows they protect your eyes and your brain. I don't know if that's why I'm still here, but I'm not about to stop eating them now. The seventh food is one that most people ignore, and I think that's a tragedy. Beans. Any kind. Black beans, pinto beans, lentils, chickpeas. I eat them almost every day. Sometimes in a soup, sometimes mashed up and spread on toast, sometimes just heated up with a little salt and cumin. Beans are one of the most powerful foods on earth, and they're dirt cheap. They're full of protein, full of fiber, and they keep your blood sugar steady so you don't get those crashes where you feel shaky and exhausted. When I started eating beans regularly, two things happened. My digestion got better. I'd struggled with constipation for years and it just went away. And my energy leveled out. I didn't have those afternoon slumps anymore. I felt steady all day long. Beans also keep your gut healthy. And your gut is where most of your immune system lives. If your gut is strong, you stay strong. It's that simple. So there they are, 7 foods. Oatmeal, walnuts, greens, fish, garlic, blueberries, beans. That's what I've eaten almost every day for the last 60 years. And I'm not special. I'm not some genetic miracle. My family died young. But I made different choices, small choices, consistent choices. And those choices gave me decades that other people didn't get. I've seen so many people die too soon. And the hardest part is knowing it didn't have to happen. I had a friend named Harold. We grew up together. Same street, same school, same everything. But in our 50s, our lives split in 2 different directions. I changed what I ate. Harold didn't. He kept eating burgers and fries and soda and sweets. He'd laugh and say, "Life's too short to worry about every little thing you put in your mouth." And I never argued with him. It was his life. But by 65, he had diabetes. By 72, his heart gave out. And I remember standing at his funeral thinking he could still be here. If he'd just changed a few things. If he'd just taken it seriously. He'd still be here. I'm not telling you this to scare you. I'm telling you because it's the truth. The choices you make today, the food you put on your plate today, that's what decides whether you're here in 20 years, or 30 years, or 40 years. And I know it's easy to think you have time. I thought that too. But time moves faster than you think it does. One day you're 30 and feel invincible. Then you blink and you're 60, and your body is falling apart, and you're wondering where it all went wrong. Don't wait until you're sick to start caring. Don't wait until the doctor gives you bad news. Start now, today, with one of these 7 foods. Just one. And then add another, and another. You don't have to be perfect. You just have to be consistent. I want to be honest with you. Changing the way I ate wasn't easy at first. I missed the junk I used to love. I missed the sweetness, the grease, the convenience of grabbing whatever was fast and easy. But after a few weeks, something shifted. I started feeling better. I had more energy. I slept better. My body stopped hurting all the time. And once I felt that difference, I didn't want to go back. The junk food stopped tasting good. It started tasting like what it really was, poison disguised as pleasure. Now the foods I eat every day, those 7 simple foods, they're what I crave. They're what tastes good to me. So if you're worried that eating healthy means suffering, I promise you it doesn't. You just have to push through those first few weeks. After that, it gets easier. And then it becomes part of who you are. I've also learned that you don't have to be perfect. I'm not perfect. I still have a piece of pie on my birthday. I still enjoy a cookie once in a while. But most of the time, maybe 90% of the time, I'm eating those 7 foods. And that's what matters. It's not about one meal. It's about what you do most days, most weeks, most years. That's what adds up. That's what builds a long life. And these foods aren't just for old people. If you're 30 or 40 or 50, this is the perfect time to start. The earlier you start, the more years you get. I didn't start until I was 52, and look how far it took me. Imagine if I'd started at 25. But even if you're 70 or 80, it's not too late. Your body wants to heal. It's designed to heal. You just have to give it the tools. Let me tell you what my day looks like so you can see how simple this really is. I wake up and make my oatmeal. I eat it slowly, sitting down, no phone, no TV, just me and my food. Around mid-morning, I'll have a cup of tea and maybe a piece of fruit. At lunch, I make a big salad with spinach, tomatoes, cucumbers, and some beans. I dress it with olive oil and lemon juice. Simple. Around 3 o'clock, I eat my walnuts. And for dinner, I'll have a piece of fish with roasted vegetables, always cooked with garlic. That's it. That's a full day of eating. Nothing fancy, nothing expensive. Just real food, prepared simply, eaten mindfully. And that's been my routine for 6 decades. It's not a diet, it's just how I live. This is what Lessons from a Long Life is really about. It's not about grand gestures or expensive treatments. It's about the small, quiet choices you make every single day. I know some of you watching this are thinking it's too late for you. Maybe you're already sick. Maybe you've already been given bad news. But I'm telling you, it's not too late. Every good choice you make helps. Every meal matters. Your body is more resilient than you think. I've seen people turn things around in their 70s and 80s just by changing what they eat. It won't fix everything, but it will give you more time, better time. Time where you're not in pain, not confused, not dependent on a dozen medications. Time where you can still enjoy life. And isn't that what we all want? Not just to be alive, but to actually live. So here's what I want you to do. Don't just watch this and move on. Actually do something. Today, right now. Pick one of those 7 foods and add it to your next meal. Maybe it's oatmeal tomorrow morning. Maybe it's a handful of walnuts this afternoon. Maybe it's a spinach salad for lunch. Just start. And once that becomes normal, add another one. You don't need to overhaul your whole life overnight. You just need to start. Because starting is the hardest part. But once you start, momentum builds. And before you know it, eating this way becomes automatic. It becomes who you are. And if this message meant something to you, I want to ask you for something. Leave a comment below and tell me which of these foods you're going to start with. I want to know. I want to hear your story. And share this video with someone you care about. Maybe it's your mom or your dad. Maybe it's a friend who's struggling with their health. Maybe it's someone who needs to hear that it's not too late. Because the more people who hear this, the more lives we can change. And that's what this is all about. Passing on what I've learned so you don't have to learn it the hard way. So you don't have to lose the years I've seen so many others lose. I'm 112 years old. I never thought I'd live this long. I've outlived everyone I started life with. And when I look back, I don't think about the money I made or the things I owned. I think about the mornings I woke up and made that bowl of oatmeal, the afternoons I sat down and ate my walnuts, the dinners I cooked with garlic and greens and fish, those small, unremarkable moments. That's what gave me this life. That's what kept me here. And I want you to have that too. I want you to be around long enough to see your grandkids grow up, to watch the sun rise on 1,000 more mornings, to feel what it's like to be truly healthy, not just alive, but living. And it starts with the food on your plate. It starts today. Don't wait. Please don't wait, because it's later than you think. But it's not too late. Not yet. You still have time. Use it.
I taste so good on the outside, but once I'm inside you, I coat your arteries with grease and fat, layer by layer, slowly choking your heart.
You never feel it happening, and that's exactly what makes me so dangerous.